What's up, guys? Dylan here from Veteran Aquatics, and today we're going to talk about hybrid fish in the hobby. Are they good or are they bad? Well, I kind of have a unique opinion about this, so let's go ahead and talk about it. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in a minute. So first, let's talk about what constitutes a hybrid. A hybrid is a fish that was created from two different species of fish. Now, that's not something like a Dumbo mosaic and a red dragon guppy having babies. That's not a hybrid. They're the same species of fish, just a different color morph. Things like a hybrid would be that red Texas that you see behind me, which is generally a cross between a red devil and a Texas cichlid. Another good example of this are Fliwerhirns. They're seen very often, and they kind of split the community pretty heavily. Now, I have a different approach in saying that some hybrids are okay. Now, before I go ahead and explain why I think that's okay, go ahead and comment down below what you think. Are you okay with hybrids in the hobby? Are you okay with some hybrids in the hobby? Are you not okay with hybrids in the hobby? And if you're not, go ahead and let me know why. But I'm going to explain my viewpoint so you have a better idea. Let's go ahead and look at some of my Fliwerhirns. So Fliwerhirns have been created through genetic manipulation of breeding different fish together over time to create their own kind of fish. A lot of things used are like Midas cichlids, Trimax are really commonly used for these guys, crossed with things like blood parrots and stuff like that. Now, the thing with hybrids is a lot of times they come out infertile. There are better lines than others, and oftentimes you can get a good line of Fliwerhirns and you'll be able to breed them. Now, these are all males, these are all King Kampfa Fliwerhirns, and I have 3. So I did have a short body golden base and another King Kampfa, but they found new homes. These guys are looking good though, and I'm excited to have them. This one is the biggest. So Fliwerhirns are hybrids. Are they okay or are they not? Well, I think some hybrids are okay, and I'm going to explain why. It's really hard to look at a fish as beautiful as this red Texas and say hybrids are bad. Some of the most beautiful fish in the hobby are hybrids. Fliwerhirns are a great example, and so is this red Texas cichlid. But there's a limit to what's okay. If we start hybridizing everything, we lose the true lines of the fish, and that's something that's going to really hurt the hobby. Now, like I said before, different color morphs don't really matter. But that fish right there is so stunning. Most of you, and this is not to sound any type of way, most of you might not have a fish that's that pretty. And everybody has different tastes, but in my opinion, he's one of the most beautiful fish I've ever seen. So what hybrids are not okay? Well, a lot of different species of fish can breed together and create some pretty interesting offspring. Fish of the same genus can typically make more babies, so things like Parachromis and stuff like that should be able to interbreed and produce viable offspring. But like I said, a lot of times they become infertile because of the different genes. Now, something that happens probably more than it should, or more than people want to admit, are peacock cichlids. All being from Lake Malawi, of course, natural hybridization occurs, but a lot of the time people just keep a bunch of different peacocks in a tank, they make babies, they grow the babies up, they sell the babies. That can be a problem. Like I said, we don't want to lose the original lines of these fish or dilute the original gene pools to a point when they're unrecognizable. That's why a lot of people don't like hybrids. However, Fliwerhirns, red Texas cichlids, and a few others, maybe specialties, that are kind of limited, in my opinion, are okay as long as we keep it limited. What we don't want to do is just start hybridizing a ton of fish and selling them and disseminating through the hobby, because it's going to ruin the original lines of the gene pool, and people might not even know it's a hybrid. For example, OB peacock cichlids are actually a hybrid peacock cichlid, but they've been around for so long that you can just get OB peacocks and breed them with OB peacocks. But people cross other things with them all the time. Red Empress is a common one. Dragon blood I've seen blue regals. Almost any kind of peacock cichlid has been crossed with an OB to create a more unique colored OB peacock. Is that okay? Well, that's where the line gets a little bit blurry. Now, what I wouldn't do is start crossing blue regals with red empress and just creating weird hybrids and selling them and making more of them, because that's going to dilute the original lines. If you have a hybrid spawn and hybrid fish growing out, and if you intend to disseminate them, make sure you clearly know what they are. Don't guess at it, and make sure you tell the person that's getting them what they are when they get them. That said, my personal recommendation is things like that probably shouldn't go through the hobby. I've seen things like a Dovi and a Jaguar cichlid cross. Probably shouldn't disseminate that either, although they can be beautiful fish. And I know I sound like a hypocrite. I know I have Fliwerhirns, I know I have the red Texas cichlid, and you all know I keep a ton of OB peacocks. Why is it okay? Well, I'm just weird. I think some things are okay and others aren't. There's a point where it crosses the line. I wouldn't just start crossing random things with random things and just making all these weird funky fish. I think it would kind of ruin the hobby, and like I said earlier, dilute the lines of what the pure strain of the fish should be. I think it's in a great place now, and I don't think it should get any worse, and I don't think we should add many more things to it. There's already so many amazing fish that naturally occur in the wild, we don't really need to create more. Although, I do really love my Fliwerhirns and my red Texas cichlid. When it comes to hybridized fish, most people generally fall into one of two categories. Those that think it's okay, and those that don't. But there are also people like me where the line's a little bit more gray than it is black and white. And I think for the most part, if we looked at the fish for what they were, and didn't try to make any more weird hybrids, the hobby's gonna be okay. What we don't want to do is in 20 years have the original lines of fish so diluted that you can't even get pure strains anymore, because that's gonna ruin the hobby, it's gonna muddy the waters of the gene pool, and there's not gonna be much distinction between the fish. That's why some things like peacock cichlids, really kind of a no-go. The same thing if you start breeding, I don't even know if it's possible, but like Midas cichlids with Jaguar cichlids and red devils with Dovi, like you get weird things. That said, the red Dovi is more than likely also a hybrid, but it is also a beautiful fish, though it is a hybrid that is well established in the hobby. Now, I'm not saying that nobody should ever try to create a new fish, right? There are going to be a lot of people, though, that do not like that. They don't accept it, and these are known as purists. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, because what they want to do is preserve the more wild state of the fish and of the species itself without muddying it up with human crossbreeding and weird genetic things going on. But there are going to be people who just like to experiment, and there's going to be people that do it by accident, and that's how a lot of things happen. People don't know that it's a hybrid fish, or people put two fish together and never expect them to spawn, and the next thing you know, you have a bunch of babies. Now, the fry of hybrid fish tend to be pretty weak and genetically end up with a lot of defects, but as the line is perfected, kind of like with Fliwerhirns, they become stronger, able to survive better, and they kind of make it through adulthood and become a thing of their own. Like I said earlier, guys, I know my opinion is a little weird and a little hypocritical, but these are some beautiful fish, and when they grow out, they're some of the most colorful out there in the hobby. These King Camphas likely descended somewhere from Trimax, and on his hump there you can see that little black spot. That's indicative of a Trimac. Alright? Trimacs in and of themselves are beautiful, beautiful cichlids. Scott from King and Queen Cichlids has an excellent pair of them, and they're awesome fish as they are. They don't need to be changed. But these fish were created. I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, they originated from Asia. And a lot of things come out of Asia. Asian fish keepers are absolutely wild and pretty fanatical, and it's actually pretty cool. One of the things I would love to do is go over to Asia and see how they keep their fish, how they breed their fish, what they feed their fish, because they produce some of the most beautiful guppies and Fliwerhirns that you can find, and betas. I mean, betas are native to like places like Thailand, but over there, beautiful, beautiful fish. And we pay a lot of money to import these fish. Nowadays, a lot of these are being homebred, but a lot of people still pay the money to import them, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I guess what I'm trying to say in this video is, I'm not exactly sure if it's okay or not. I know that the hybrids that I have, I love, and that they're beautiful fish, and I don't see anything wrong with that. There are a lot of people that are not going to be okay with this, and guys, if you're going to comment on this or do something in the comments. Don't be rude to each other. Be respectful. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. Nobody needs to get upset. Simply voice your opinion, give your reasons why that's your opinion, and step back. Please don't call names. Don't do anything rude like that. We're all human beings, and it's okay to have different opinions. Despite what you might hear out there in the world today, different opinions are what makes the world better. It's what helps us grow as humans and as a civilization. So, it's okay to have a different opinion than somebody else. But that's it for today, guys. Like I said, comment down below. Let me know what you think of hybrids. If you keep any, let me know what they are. A lot of people keep Fliwerhirns. I've seen a few red Texas. I don't think I've seen one that I liked as much as mine, though I have seen one in my entire life that was even prettier than mine, and it was just a deep, deep red, and I thought it was so cool. I didn't even see it in person. It was in a video that somebody did. But an awesome fish nonetheless. But that's it for today, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you next time.